Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Lady and gentlemen, the beer room.
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
Welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Visit us online at beerguysradio.com. We are radio for the local craft beer movement. I'm Tim Dennis, and Aaron Williams is not here today. Aaron's up in the Northeast enjoying some vacation time with his family, sipping Northeast beers and introducing folks up there to Georgia beer. So have a good time, Aaron, and we'll try and get through this without you.
Yeah, we can make it.
I think we can get this beer drank. So on this episode, we've got good friend Jason Dominy is joining us. Jason, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
We're going to talk Craft Beer 101. Just talk about the community, getting introduced to it, getting started with craft beer and that. We also have our friend Brad Hodnett. Brad,
cheers, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Brad does some writing for us on beerguysradio.com. Local member of the craft beer community, supporting and spreading the word, right?
Absolutely.
So that's it. Gosh, busy week. Lots going on in Georgia beer this past week. So, Jason, what'd you do this week?
There's a lot going on. It was really hard for me to determine, so I basically stayed at home. Drank beer at home. So I'm actually getting ready to move. So instead of moving all this beer, I decided I would start drinking it at home.
You're heading ITP, right?
I'm actually heading ITP for the very first time in my Atlanta career.
Okay.
So rather than moving it, I thought I would just drink it.
That sounds good. I've seen your collection though, so that'll take some work, right?
It will take some work, and it will refill very quickly. But I mean, let's be honest. They had a lot of events this past weekend.
There was a ton. There really was. Yeah, I did my best to get to them. Brad, how about you?
I went to. I think my favorite thing I went to was the 320 Fest downtown, and I just thought that was an incredible deal. Like for what you got, it was an incredible amount of beer and a lot of kind of cool stuff, and it was almost underpriced.
What was your favorite at that festival? Your favorite beer?
I can't remember the name of the new Creature Comforts that they haven't even come out. Yeah, Transmission.
And very good.
I actually talked to Seth Herman, one of their guys up there, and he said there's a really cool story about that. So I'm hoping we get a little blog or something up about maybe a little bit of automotive trouble.
The story behind
automotive trouble out in Arizona apparently is the reason behind that name.
So that's a collaboration with Arizona Wilderness,
that's
right?
Correct. That's correct.
Cool. I'll be curious to hear that. So I'm busy week, like we said. So last Saturday I went to the old 320 Fest. Saw you there. Like you said, just a great festival, man. I mean, so many great beers, food, music, good people. And like I said, the value was amazing what you got in that. It was just
a lot of good food.
Insane.
Had riblets and chicken tenders
crab
and all
cakes.
kinds of it was crazy. It was amazing.
So then I doubled down and went over to Three Taverns. Went over for their anniversary.
Congrats to those guys.
Man, they had a heck of a turnout there. It was really impressive. That's so saw Brian and those guys, and he looked surprised at the turnout. It was really packed, which is great to see. It's good to see folks showing up for breweries like this. Had a brew day with my homebrew club.
Nice.
So we've got a Imperial Stout that we've got in a whiskey barrel, and we brewed another one to blend with it. Nice. So pretty soon we'll have 20-25 gallons of bourbon barrel stout going on here. So
my favorite.
Went to a Scofflaw launch. They're in the market now. Latest brewery here.
Congrats to those guys.
Yeah, and then a little event at Monday night. So just a crazy busy beer week, man.
It's getting that way in Georgia.
It is.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, guys, moving on. We've got some beers of the week here. Our Truck and Tap beers of the week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Woo-hoo! Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
Guys, we've got some great beers here. Brad and Jason both brought beers to share. I brought some for Jason. You've got one just recently released, one that we've enjoyed.
I actually brought the Creature Comforts Mutualism, which is their collaboration with Jester King. For those who don't know, it's a Southern-style farmhouse lager. It's got that real classic day spring kind of wheat taste, and then it punches you in the face with this Jester King funkiness. And I think it's one of their best collaborations for sure.
Yeah, it's good. Brad, how about you? What do you got for us?
I've got the Wicked Weed Old Fashioned, which I'm just I haven't had it yet, so interested to see kind of how they integrated the cherries and the orange peel, and also have a a Le Freak, I believe it was, by Duclaw.
Okay.
Another little wild ale.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. And I brought some old favorites here. Digits. Burnt Hickory's Digit.
Oh,
Their
yeah,
Blood
classic.
Orange IPA. Thai Wheat from Second Self. And
Yep.
I got a little surprise from Monday night.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that. If we have time, we'll get into that.
Yeah,
So
that sounds good.
now time for some headlines.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
Lots of news this week. As we just mentioned, newest brewery in Georgia, Scofflaw. Scofflaw did a launch earlier this week. They've got a ton of events coming up. So if you haven't been out there to check them out yet, make it a point to. Check their Facebook page. They'll put all the events on there. We're trying to keep up with them and get them on our beer calendar as well. So they launched, it was quick. I was in and out. I had another event to go to, but I tried their Sneaky Wheat, which is, I think it's 9% or 9%-ish wheat. It's
Hence
like,
the
almost
name.
like a wheat wine, and yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
So it's great. They have Pale Ale and a couple of IPAs as well that they've launched with. So very good beers. Get out there and check them out. Think you'll enjoy it. So also on the Georgia beer scene, we got Naughty Soda. So not beer, hard soda though. It's part of the Georgia beer community. They just started canning. So they put their triple berry in cans. They were rolling off the line just earlier this week. So if you like hard sodas, check them out. Local there. Check them out. On national news level, got some interesting news. Good news, U.S. hop acreage is up again for a third year in a row. So they said they're looking at that rising 18.5% in 2016. That's 15.4% growth in 2015 and 10.2% up in 2014. So very busy there. Kind of interesting story. Lost Abbey. They have a beer called Duck Duck Goose it comes out every few years.
Yep.
Highly sought after. And we're taping this before the next attempt at a release, but they've tried twice to release it, and the servers crashed. People just went crazy getting this. Internet Beer Geeks got angry, so they're trying it again. Actually, yesterday to see if they could sell it. $41 a bottle for this beer, and people are just flooding trying to get it. The last release in 2013, I've seen those selling for $150, $165 on the secondary market there.
Right.
So it's a highly sought after beer, and
the brewery might as well get some of that.
yeah, and people are upset that they can't get it there.
This is beginning to be kind of a thing that happens every time there's a major beer release. Cigar City had the same thing with Hunapoo's Day, and obviously Creature Comforts has that several times, and so I think we'll continue to do that until they create a better system.
It's tough because I know a lot of places have tried different methods. I saw people telling Lost Abbey, you guys should have used brown paper tickets or one of these. I've seen them crash out.
Exactly.
I've seen people get upset thinking that, they didn't release enough because he sold out too fast. These beers are in demand. We've seen it here with some of our releases, selling out quickly in Georgia.
They aren't IT companies. They're beer companies, guys.
Right.
That's not what their specialty is.
Yeah. And if they have people just come line up and first come, first serve, then people say, well, I couldn't make it that day, or, just some reason why. No matter how you do it, somebody's going to be unhappy with the way you've done it.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain to some of these IT places, listen, we got this beer, it's going to sell out in like 15 seconds.
Right. I'm sure there's other things that have that kind of demand, but for craft beer, it's crazy. That's people get on and really try and get onto those. So news we talked a little bit about last week, but still a hot topic. The internet's been buzzing about it. We know that Terrapin. Majority stake was sold to 10th and Blake, which is a division of Miller Coors. Discussions on the internet all over the place. People upset, saying they were sellouts. People saying, they've built a business, they've built the Georgia beer community, and that it's something that's not just as easy as saying, hey, they're sellouts there and dropping them, but it's something that a lot of people in craft beer do look at as that. So it's interesting to see all the reactions and kind of see how people are treating that.
Yeah, I was talking about it this week. I was talking about the fact that I have friends at the brewery, and then I have friends in the regular craft beer community. And I think about my friends that are at Terrapin, that are brewers and that are involved in the marketing of it. They've worked their butts off, making really good craft beer over the years.
Important part of Georgia beer community, any way you look at it. Yeah.
So,
guys, you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more to Jason Dominy about Craft Beer 101, and we will be right back.
Whenever I get you next to me. Hey, it's Aaron. I want to give a quick shout out to our newest sponsor. It's HopSpot Beer Tours of Atlanta. Now, there's a lot of tours out there, but what makes HopSpot Beer Tours different? Well, you get exposure. There's more to Atlanta craft beer than just breweries. A HopSpot Beer Tour gives you the who, what, where, and when to craft beer right here in Atlanta and the state. Education. Whether you're a native, a transplant, or a visitor, you'll always learn something new. And connection. HopSpot connects you to guests, local breweries, and businesses to create those lasting relationships. We invite you to check out what makes HopSpot different. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter and Instagram at HopSpotATL, and of course, visit HopSpotBeerTours.com. Use promo code BeerGuys10 and receive 10% off your order. HopSpot Beer Tours. Hop on, get connected. That's HopSpotBeerTours.com. Here on the Beer Guys Radio Show, we always encourage you to drink local. And of course, shop local at your favorite bottle shop. But sometimes you want something different. A beer you heard about online, or maybe you've got a bottle share to attend, but nothing special to bring, or you just want to check out something new. That's where Inside the Cellar comes in. They stock lots of craft beer from breweries that may not be available in your hometown. Shipping is almost free for every 12 you buy, and if you use our special promo code, you'll get 10% off of your order. Inside the Cellar also stocks wines and craft soda too, and using Inside the Cellar helps us out. So head to BeerGuysRadio.com, click on the sponsors link at the top of the page, and click the Inside the Cellar icon to shop, and enter our special promo code for 10% off too. That's BeerGuysRadio.com, click the sponsors link, and then go to Inside the Cellar.
The Beer Guys Radio Show on the Beer Guys Radio Network. BeerGuysRadio.com. Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to Beer Guys Radio, beerguysradio.com on the web. Check us out. We're here this week with our good friends Jason Dominy and Brad Hodnett. We're talking Craft Beer 101. Guys, thanks again for joining us.
Absolutely.
Much appreciated.
Cheers. Absolutely.
Jason, I see you have a bottle and an opener there, so I'm hoping that means we're about to drink some beer.
I do, actually. I've been looking forward to drinking another one of these Creature Comforts Mutualisms.
Excellent. I've been fortunate, when you see these limited releases, sometimes you can't get your hands on them, but I've been in the right place at the right time a few times to get this, and it's a fantastic beer. So, Marquis, we had some in here. Marquis, you've had this one. That's right. Aaron brought some back when he went over there. So, we'll pass this around. Jason, again, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
I know that you did a course recently on Craft Beer 101, kind of introducing people to it. And I guess before we get into that, how did you get started in craft beer?
I actually I did my beer drinking in high school. Budweiser was my beer of choice, and then I passed on beer drinking for a lot of years, and then I was actually at a church backyard cookout, and someone offered me a Blue Moon, and the peer pressure got to me, and I said, "Yeah, I'd absolutely like a beer." And then I tried it, and I thought, man, this doesn't taste like the beer that I remembered in high school. And so I drank the Blue Moon, and then I drank another, and I thought, man, I had no idea that beer could actually have flavor to it. And so I actually just started from there, just trying to find beers that were like Blue Moon. And I would actually go into places and say, what do you have that's like Blue Moon? And then they would offer me like Hoegaarden or Allagash White or these other beers. And then I got into it from there. So, and again, I've been into it ever since.
And that's a lot of people talk poorly of Blue Moon. It's not craft in that, but if you like Blue Moon, you like to drink it, drink away.
Yeah.
Drink away. But for a lot of people, that is kind of a gateway beer.
Yeah,
you try a beer like a Blue Moon because someone has one at a backyard cookout.
Yeah.
And you get interested as to what else is out there. So.
Yeah, I mean, and how often have you been at an airport bar and like the craft beer was Blue Moon? And you were like, man, I really have an itch for some sort of beer, right?
Right.
And so, absolutely. But that actually was the crux and the start and the reason for the Craft Beer 101 was this whole idea of like, there are a lot of people that were like me And so, but there's also a lot of different varieties and a lot of different styles of craft beer. So how can we create something that makes all of these things accessible? How can we create something that breaks down this kind of barrier when a new craft beer person walks up to a beer store shelf and looks at these thousands of different beers and just goes, oh my God, I have no idea where to start.
Sure.
And then they just pick something with a cool label.
And it can be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lot of things that have, I guess, what you'd consider connoisseurs or aficionados can be intimidating to someone who's not familiar with it. I know I felt that way when I started smoking cigars,
Right.
and again, same kind of story. When I was younger, I'd had the gas station cigars, the Phillies or what have you, and didn't care for them, no interest. And a friend gave me a Cuban Cohiba. Celebrate a big milestone, and I'm like, wow, this is good. So I went in the cigar store and I looked at the shelf with all these cigars. I'm like, man, I don't even know what to do here. I don't know what to grab, and I don't want to show that I'm too much of a newbie to this guy because he's an aficionado and he'll turn his nose up. But a lot of communities like that kind of have a bad reputation because a few bad apples kind of put that air out there, but they are welcoming.
Yeah, exactly.
Craft beer,
craft coffee. Obviously, I was in the coffee industry for 16 and a half years, and I was in the specialty coffee industry, which is like your local independent coffee shops. And so I spent most of that time educating people and consumers as to how craft coffee was different than your Starbucks or your Dunkin' Donuts. So this was a concept that was very familiar to me because I had already been doing it in coffee for so long.
Okay, and Jason, you're passionate about spreading the word. I know it's something when I asked you if you'd like to do this show with us, didn't take any time to respond and say, yeah, let's do this. So what is it about craft beer that kind of incites that in you?
I mean, honestly, it's the people. I mean, even now, just thinking about it, I get goosebumps because the people that I've met and the people who are friends of mine who work at breweries, who own local breweries, they're just really good people. And so I obviously support them because I support them as people first. They just happen to have a brewery. I knew Jonathan Baker of Monday Night way before there was a building over there on the west side.
When it was a Bible study in a garage,
yeah,
right?
And so I was a fan of Jonathan Baker as a person well before there was a brewery over there. And that's kind of the way that I've been. I was a fan of Nick Purdy for many years before there was a Wild Heaven. And most of those guys, it's actually started out like that. And so for me, it's just about the people and the community that's built around it. I'm a lover of community, and that's actually... That's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about it. The other reason is that, again, beer brings people together. Craft beer brings people together, and I love that about it.
On that note, now, Brad, I know that you a lot of times have said to you'll come up to me and say, hey, do you know so-and-so? You need to meet so-and-so. You've done the same, do a lot of introductions there. So that ties into what Jason says about bringing people together. What is it about craft beer for you that kind of does that?
Well, I've kind of been in it a little bit longer. I'm a little older, and started working at a package store when I was in Athens for school, and just kind of started getting into the Killians, the Grolsch, the European stuff and that kind of thing. Got a taste for something a little different than just regular products that were easily available back then. And then I moved out to Utah and Texas, and Utah out west. A lot of people love IPAs, but I just kind of tell people I kind of got all my IPA-ness out when I was out west. I kind of went through that phase, but and just built on it from there, just trying different things. I love to try new beers. And, one of the things Jason was saying, it's what he does is awesome because a lot of times I think people get scared off by the price tag a little bit, and if you get a bunch of people just bring a little bit, and it's not like it's only a $3 or $4 investment to them to
instead of $41
bottle
of goose.
Right, exactly. They can try a lot of different stuff, and him getting folks together and letting them try different styles. Like you get people all the time. I tell people, if you like wine, I can find a beer you like. If you like liquor, I can find a beer you like. You just have to tell me what kind of taste, tell me what you drink, and I'll find somebody's made a beer that has a similar flavor
Right,
to that, and
yeah.
it's going to surprise you.
Right. Now, Jason, so we know the first step if you want to get introduced to craft beer is don't be intimidated.
Yeah, exactly.
Go in there, find you a good bottle shop, beer store, a friend, a beer bar. On the forum that I'm on, Reddit ATL Beer, a lot of times people will come on there and say something, no, I'm new. What do I do? People give them just a laundry list of suggesting that. So, but outside of that, not being intimidated and giving a start at it, what would you suggest for someone who's new to craft beer?
Honestly, just visit your local bottle shop and tell them the type of foods that you like or the type of flavors that you like. A lot of people think, that beers are just dark and strong or they're really like watery. So if you go in and you say, you know what, I really like raspberry lemonade, or you say, I really like a thick, juicy steak, that's actually a pretty easy place to start with. And it's very similar to where I started in coffee. They would say, well, I don't know that I can do all of that. I don't know that I can determine all those taste notes and things. And I just said, well, I mean, you eat food, don't you? What is it? What do you like? So that's where I would start. And that's kind of one of the joys of the Craft Beer 101 is that literally we have 22 plus different styles. And so it's actually, they get to try some from every single style and figure out what kind of style of beer that they like.
And you talked about the flavors, and you don't have to overcomplicate things with that. You can you'll see a beer, someone who reviews beer, you'll see a long list of descriptors there. You can say this is smooth, this is piney, this is bitter, this is sour. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to get into these crazy descriptions of what it is there.
One of my favorite beers right now is Wild Heavens Emergency Drinking Beer. And if you ask me what it would taste like, I would just say it tastes like beer.
Right. And that's good enough. You enjoy it, so that's all you need to know, right? Y'all, we need to take a quick break. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're talking to Jason Dominy and Brad Hodnett, and we will be right back.
Hi, this is Bob Sandage, owner of the Wrecking Bar Brew Pub. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this. The Beer Guys Radio Show on the Beer Guys Radio Network. BeerGuysRadio.com.
It's Aaron and Tim, the Beer Guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out. Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the Beer Guys sent you.
Hey, this is Aaron. I want to thank you so much for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We've got some really awesome things that are coming soon that will help us engage with you some more. We're not going to lie to you, though. It takes time, effort, and money to produce this show every week. So if you'd like to be part of the Beer Guys family, we would love your help. Head to patreon.com/beerguys to become a sponsor. We're not going to beg. Okay, maybe just a little bit. But hey, we've got some great swag for those who become a sponsor, and you'll be among the first to know about the great things that are coming to the Beer Guys universe. Again, that's patreon.com, patreon.com/beerguys, or you can go to beerguysradio.com and click the sponsor link. We thank you for your support, and cheers. Hey, it's Aaron, and you know what I hate? When I miss a favorite TV show and forget to DVR it. Don't let this tragic tale happen to you when it comes to Beer Guys Radio. Subscribe to us on demand. It is easy. If you've got iTunes, Stitcher, or any other iOS or Android podcast app, search for us, or go to beerguysradio.com, click listen, and you can copy and paste the RSS feed. While you're there, by the way, give us a review. It really helps. That's Beer Guys Radio on demand. Catch it today.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I believe you have my stapler.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to Beer Guys Radio. We're having a great time here in the studio talking craft beer with Jason, Brad, and drinking. We're still working on the mutualism. We're just sipping this one because it's really good.
Yeah, it's really
good. So, Jason, just before we broke there, we were talking about how you like emergency drinking beer, and you just say it tastes like beer.
Tastes like beer.
That's good enough. So let's say someone is coming to your class, to your Craft Beer 101 class.
Yep.
And they come in and they tell you they're coming in straight off of drinking, say, Bud Miller Coors.
Yeah.
And they want to learn craft beer. What are you going to ask them? Where are you going to start them?
I mean, honestly, we feature styles everywhere from lagers and saisons and wheat ales, all the way to stouts and imperial stouts. So we actually do saisons, and we do IPAs, we do stouts, we do porters, we do sours, we do fruit beers like New Glarus's beers. So we actually cover the gamut, and pretty much by the end of it, they've actually written a lot of notes and decided which beers that they really like. And as I mentioned before, one of the biggest and most important aspects of this is that 80 to 90% of the beers that I choose are actually local beers that they can pick up in their local stores around the Atlanta area and around the region. So they're going to walk away with a local beer that they really like and can pick up.
What are some examples of beers you would start with? Like the first beer you come in, you're starting light. Your crowd's just the Bud Miller Coors lager drinkers. What's a beer you're going to start them with?
Honestly, I'm going to start with a beer like Emergency Drinking Beer, which is actually one of the beers that we choose. Emergency Drinking Beer is obviously one of these beers that's just super refreshing. It's still got that kind of that classic kind of that Budweiser-y kind of grainy kind of taste, but is actually sweeter, cleaner, more refreshing.
Right. We had someone on one of the forums ask about putting a wedding beer list together, and that got me kind of thinking, to cover all the styles there. And I know on the lighter end, we've got Bebo Pilsner from Creature Comforts.
Yeah, we actually use Bebo as our Pilsner.
Okay.
So we actually had, you reminded me, we actually had Bebo Pilsner as our Pilsner. And obviously there's a lot of people that were like, oh, this is very familiar to me. And then there were other people that were like, this is, they were already past that.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And it's one that I enjoy seeing these styles coming back into popularity. The Pilsners and ESBs, Milds, and those types of beers. And along those lines, we have Prince of Pilsen from Three Taverns. Yep. There's Bebo Pils, Soundcheck from Terrapin. So there's not just one or two. We've got a few options.
No,
for that now.
My wife and I actually served the Bebo Pilsner at the Atlanta Food and Wine Festival this year. We served it alongside the Cucumber and Lime Tritonia. And honestly, just as many people were asking for the Bebo Pilsner as were asking for the Tritonia.
Excellent. Yeah. So now moving on from that, so you're taking it to the next level. You're introduced to craft beer. Let's say you get someone comes in that's a Blue Moon drinker.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I've tried some craft beer. So kind of where would you go from there? If you know someone's at the Blue Moon level, what's the next step or next move that you would take them to?
Probably the next step I would move would be to ask them if they're interested in IPAs or hoppy beers, and obviously if they are, move them into there's some really good local IPAs. I mean, obviously we have classic like Sweetwater and Terrapin, but Monday nights Slap Fight is also an awesome IPA. Orpheus is putting out some amazing IPAs, and so I would move down that route. Or if they said not, then I would obviously think about maybe some fruited beers or maybe some sours. Like I would ask them, are they interested in sours? And so I'd probably move in that direction.
Okay. And Brad, how about you? What's kind of your starter beer? Someone brand new to craft beer, what are you going to introduce them to?
Well, like Jason was kind of saying earlier, I just kind of want them to tell me what they like. Put beer out of your mind. Just tell me what taste you like if there's a wine that you like, or if there's a liquor drink that you like. Tell me what that is. And then there's something out there for everybody. These Belgian beers, these fruited beers, they have those kind of taste profiles in them. So it's not hard to find something. Now, they may have trouble finding that beer in just any old watering hole, but you can find them a beer. If you're at a good beer bar, good solid local beer bar, you can find them something they're going to like if they tell you what they... I surprise a lot of people a lot of times.
All right. So. Guys, we're going to do our Well of the Week right now.
Ahoy there, mateys! Hunting whales? We've got you covered with Tim's Whale of the Week.
Whales, bro. We love hunting them. There's some. I think one just surfaced. It sounded like there. So, so our whale of the week this week is one that is actually releasing on the 3rd at the brewery. Orpheus Coffee Minotaur in bottles.
Sounds amazing.
Yep, absolutely. Orpheus has actually got a pretty good lineup of bottle releases they're going to be doing soon. This is going to be the next one that they've got coming to us. It is a sour stout, aged partially in part of it was aged in Heaven Hill barrels, part in Jack Daniels, and blended with Java Lord's coffee.
Yeah.
So the beer's got a 4.21 rating by Untapped drinkers, and this will be a good one to check out. So Orpheus always does a really nice event for their bottle releases. So if you want a Georgia whale, go get it.
Absolutely. They've actually been crushing it on the stout fronts lately.
Yeah, they have. Mm-hmm. Really good stuff coming from them. I've enjoyed. I went to their anniversary. They had a barrel aged Maenads is what the beer is called, and I don't remember the exact descriptor on it, but it was just an excellent beer.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Bourbon County Stouts Rare was in Heaven Hill barrels this year. Mm-hmm. Which is the same barrels that they're using.
Okay, yeah, excellent. So we talked about guys, introducing, getting people to know that. So let's say you've had your little introduction to craft beer. You've made it to the point where you're like, you know what, I enjoy craft beer and I want to know more about this. Where do we go? What do we do?
Bottle shares. I mean, honestly, I host bottle shares at my house probably at least once a week, and we'll open up 20 to 50 bottles. And the whole idea is that they literally can find introductions to lots of different styles of beers and a lot of different brewers that they might not have heard of. So in my mind, it's kind of the next thing for them. It's a basically free admission. Usually, it's cool if you bring a beer, but if you don't, that's cool too. And so it's a good gateway into getting them even deeper.
I've found a lot of people that when you just say bottle share, again, that's another thing that intimidates people, that maybe they've just been hanging out at their house enjoying beer. I was at a share recently, and a guy didn't know this event was going to be a share, and he said, I didn't bring anything. Unless you're doing it maliciously to not share, most people don't care if you show up. They're there to share their beer. That's the whole purpose of it. So
yeah,
show up with something you'd enjoy. That's the key. Show up with something you enjoy enough that you want to share it.
Yeah,
with
and that's
others.
The other thing too, is that sometimes when people are new to bottle shares, they might bring something that they had picked up on the store along the way, and then when they get there, they realize that it's probably not the most desired bottle there. I mean, who cares? I mean, beer is beer, and it'll get drunk.
Sure. And there's unfortunately there are people who are going to be not so communal with things, and that there's few of those though.
Yep.
So, and that's something. Go there, enjoy yourself. As long as you're making an effort, people want to share with you about craft beer.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. How do we make this more accessible to more people? That's all I care about.
Right.
I'll tell you, I very seldomly have. You just did the whale of the week, so. Very seldomly do I ever have a whale by myself.
Yeah.
If it's something special, I definitely want to share it with at least 2 or 3 other people.
Yeah, at least 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, so I hoard them. I mean, if you don't get your own whales, that's tough. I'm gonna stay at the house. I like to just get me a long drinking straw, one of those curly ones, and pop open some whales and just set back.
Yeah, I mean, you got to live with yourself for that. Actually,
that's right.
I had a friend that actually did that. He actually did a rare Hunapu that he just drank it by himself. And then he
like if you can't
out.
talk to everybody about how awesome it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the sharing part is the best part.
The sharing, honestly, like sharing those beers with your friends and having them being able to partake of something special is actually one of my favorite things. And like Brad said, I never ever open up one of these beers by myself without 3 or 4 guys.
Sure, and you look forward to the fact that you are sharing it with other people, not just waiting for that, but look forward to that probably as much as you do the beer.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've been wanting to share it and drink it.
Excellent. Guys, we're going to take another quick break. Again, listen to Beer Guys Radio. Check us out online, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Beer Guys Radio, and we'll be right back.
I'm Garrett Lockhart, President and Brewmaster at Red Brick Brewing, and you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Hey, it's Aaron. I want to give a quick shout out to our newest sponsor. It's HopSpot Beer Tours of Atlanta. Now, there's a lot of tours out there, but what makes HopSpot Beer Tours different? Well, you get exposure. There's more to Atlanta craft beer than just breweries. A HopSpot Beer Tour gives you the who, what, where, and when to craft beer right here in Atlanta and the state. Education. Whether you're a native, a transplant, or a visitor, you'll always learn something new. And connection. HopSpot connects you to guests, local breweries, and businesses to create those lasting relationships. We invite you to check out what makes HopSpot different. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter and Instagram at HopSpotATL, and of course, visit HopSpotBeerTours.com. Use promo code BeerGuys10 and receive 10% off your order. HopSpot Beer Tours. Hop on, get connected. That's HopSpotBeerTours.com. Here on the Beer Guys radio show, we always encourage you to drink local. And of course, shop local at your favorite bottle shop. But sometimes you want something different. A beer you heard about online, or maybe you've got a bottle share to attend, but nothing special to bring, or you just want to check out something new. That's where Inside the Cellar comes in. They stock lots of craft beer from breweries that may not be available in your hometown. Shipping is almost free for every 12 you buy, and if you use our special promo code, you'll get 10% off of your order. Inside the Cellar also stocks wines and craft soda too, and using Inside the Cellar helps us out. So head to BeerGuysRadio.com, click on the sponsors link at the top of the page, and click the Inside the Cellar icon to shop, and enter our special promo code for 10% off too. That's BeerGuysRadio.com, click the sponsors link, and then go to Inside the Cellar.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Shake it back!
Welcome back to Beer Guys Radio. We've been having a great conversation here with Jason Dominy, Brad Hodnett. We've shared some beers. We've learned interesting things about producer Marquis while on break. So it's just been a great show. So to carry on with the awesomeness, we have a giveaway to give away.
Dun, dun, dun.
Marquis, this week our winner is Jennifer Meyer. Jennifer, we thank you. If you want a chance to win, you know what you need to do, guys? You need to go to BeerGuysRadio.com. You need to sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer. And that's it. Then you're entered. We'll draw a name every week.
Easy peasy. You can do that.
We'll send you out a Georgia Beer swag pack.
Oh, man.
So check it out.
That.
So, well, Jason, we were talking, moving along here about the introducing people, flavors, and all that. So a couple other things that are kind of part of the beer community, kind of the 101. And I do want to back up a little bit here. So we're talking this here, but you actually give a course, a class, a meeting. I don't think we've specified that exactly. Craft Beer 101.
Yeah, it's actually it's a course that happens over the course of a night. You can find us on Facebook at Craft Beer 101 to find out when the next one's going to be.
Okay.
Generally, we limit it to about 30 people, and for the price of $10, which helps us pay for the beer that we have to buy, and we give you full food, and we give you drinks, and you get to try and sample 22 different styles of beers, and it's just an amazing night of discovery for you.
Okay, great. And do you know when the next one's coming up?
I don't, actually. We're in the process of moving, and so I want to make sure that we're settled before we schedule the next one.
Okay, great.
But if you go to our Facebook page, which is Craft Beer 101, you can actually, I'm going to post on there when the next one is. And honestly, we had such huge participation from local breweries. Jessica Miller from Reformation came out.
Right.
Seth Herman from Creature Comforts was going to come out with honestly, everyone's been incredibly supportive. Jason over at Orpheus was supportive, and Jason from Second Self was supportive. So everybody's been incredibly supportive of it. So you only see it continue to get better and better, and more supportive of local Atlanta beer.
Awesome. Now we mentioned, Jason, we want to talk some about some other things that go on kind of in, we're going to speak specifically to Atlanta because that's what we're familiar with.
Yep.
But things like beer events.
Yeah.
So we were just talking earlier this week, World of Beer up in Kennesaw. Did a Georgia Tap takeover. Like, what is it? What was it? 45 taps?
Yeah, I think they did all of them. There was like a lot of different breweries. It was crazy.
And it's great that we're at a point to where you can do that with Georgia beer and keep that
absolutely.
up. So that's something. There's events. If someone wants to kind of take it to the next level, you can go to. They'll do tastings, flights, pint nights, specials, tap takeovers, and all that. So, Jason, what are some of your favorites?
Honestly, if you go to their breweries on Facebook pages or their Twitter accounts, their social media, you can find out about a lot of cool events. You can also go to the Atlanta Beer Reddit, which is also a great place to find local information about events or things that are happening, and people are always helpful and eager to help you get to those events.
Or check out beerguysradio.com.
Beerguysradio.com.
Calendar of events, weekly newsletter.
The weekly events that Beer Guys Radio does and then their social media is actually probably the best method I think of to keeping in track of all of the current things that are happening around craft beer.
And it's awesome that there's so many things going on, no matter what area of town you're in or the state, really, because we're not, we've talked more about the fact that it's not just Atlanta area.
Or the region, because it goes all the way out to like Birmingham area.
Right. So, and then outside of like events at bars and such, beer festivals are another great way, especially if you want to try a ton of beers. So, going out to a beer festival, we were just talking, there was 2 festivals and an anniversary party just this past weekend.
Yeah, I think the secret to attending beer festivals in the Atlanta area for someone who's really wanting to get into craft beer, because there are beer festivals literally every weekend, and a lot of them are just professionally, commercially done, and then some of them are really kind of craft beer focused. Would be to look for craft breweries that you're interested in, or look for craft breweries that you know put out good beer, and then support those craft beer festivals that feature a lot of those folks.
Right, because for lack of a better term, we have kind of an oversaturation of beer festivals here. Mm-hmm. We have excellent ones like we did last weekend.
Yep.
There's nothing against some of the other festivals, but they're not geared so much towards craft beer drinker as maybe someone who just wants to drink a boatload of beer.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a difference between someone who just wants to drink beer and then somebody who wants to learn about or drink craft beer.
Right. So there's plenty out there to choose from. Just be selective.
Yep, exactly.
Look for an event. Brad, we were talking about like the old 320 Fest.
Yes.
They didn't have 450,000 different beers,
right,
but what they did have was really, really good beer.
Yeah.
They had it at a nice venue, paired with excellent food, great people. I wouldn't say small group, but a managed group size in that.
Sure.
I think the Cask Festival that Owen Ogletree puts on at Five Seasons is a great example of that. It's a very limited number of people who actually contribute beers, and the beers that you get there are not beers that you can get anywhere. That would be another thing to look forward to when you're looking at a beer festival too, is that can you get most of those beers at every other place? And if you can, you probably might want to go to a different festival where you might be able to try a lot more different things.
Sure, absolutely. So, now, Jason, one thing, we're going to get you back on to talk about this a little bit more depth. You mentioned it casually a little earlier in the show, but you're a coffee guy as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And coffee and beer play really well together.
They are, actually.
So that's something that we want to talk more about sometime. I know stouts and coffee, but not just stouts. We're seeing an IPAs.
Yeah.
Kolsch. I've seen Kolsch's with coffee recently.
Yeah, I actually helped Monday night create their coffee IPA, which is Bedhead. So Jonathan and I actually worked to create that years ago when they were looking to do it. And Jonathan specifically said that he didn't want to do a stout, that he wanted to do something that was kind of unique. So I'm very familiar with mixing coffee and beer.
Okay. That's what are some flavors you look for? Like you mentioned an IPA because this is something that's new to me. The coffee world is new to me. I've just started it, a few months ago, 6 months ago or so, kind of getting an experience with the coffee world. But there's a huge variety of flavors in coffee, just like there is, beers in that we talk about here.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I work with people to help determine what coffees they'll use with beers, I work and figure out what kind of flavors they're wanting to pair with those beers. So Brazilian coffees are really nutty. They taste kind of peanut buttery. African coffees, especially Ethiopian area coffees, taste very berry, cherry, blueberry. And so it's just depending on the type of flavor direction that they're wanting to head with pairing with their beer.
Okay. So let's say I like a coffee that is bold, but I don't like the burnt taste.
Yep.
Low acidity.
Yep.
Maybe chocolate cherry roasty flavors. What would you recommend? What's a coffee?
Columbia.
A Colombian coffee.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Colombian coffees are just kind of like middle of the road. Generally, they're going to taste kind of sweet, still very clean, but they're going to have a little bit of depth to them or a little bit of junk in the trunk, I call it.
Okay. What's your personal favorite?
Ethiopian coffees. They taste like blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. They're natural process, so there's a lot of that sweet fruit flavor. And I'm a huge fan of that.
There's a coffee I got, and I'll mangle the name here, but I got it from Counterculture called Bazurga Hindwa. That is a sun-dried Ethiopian coffee, I think. And it juicy, fruity, jammy, I think was just really nice.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's fruit jam, and Counterculture is my favorite roaster in the country.
A little off of Craft Beer 101 there, but coffee's cool stuff too.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of variety and flavor there, something. So, guys, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Love to have you back. Jason, definitely talk more beer and coffee with you
absolutely.
in the future. So
I love it.
We're going to get to our hot list here.
Time for the hot list. The beer guys have the scoop on what you need to know for next week.
That's hot.
That is so hot. All right, you guys ready for the hot events in Alabama and Georgia for this week?
So hot, yes.
You know, it's tough to come up with a hot list just to hit a few events because there's just so much
many
going
events.
on. So we just cherry pick a few there, but we're by all means there's a lot of great stuff.
Absolutely.
So check it out there. Over in Alabama this evening, Rescue Ship Pale Ale is going to be releasing at Trim Tab, and that's one that folks really enjoy. Trim Tab is a brewery we enjoy a lot over there, so go check that out. Sunday, Singing River Beer Dinner at Below the Radar in Huntsville, and next Friday, Josh Goggin Band at Chiha Brewing in Anniston. Over here in Georgia, this afternoon, Ron Smith and Mary O'Boyle, authors of Atlanta Beer, will be doing a book signing and history event at Arches Brewing. So go check that out. Next Friday is Cinco de Siberias at Wrecking Bar, once a month release that they do. And also next Friday, Scofflaw release at Midway Pub. Next Saturday, getting ready for the weekend, Taiwan On for Monday night's 5th anniversary.
5.
How about it?
Congrats, guys.
That's a wrap, folks. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Cheers.
We made it through even without Aaron and stumbled through. Hope he has it. You've been listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Check us out at beerguysradio.com. Have a great week, and remember to drink local.
Drink local, everybody.